Hey, welcome back. That other video is getting long. I was just about to go into about my sister when I lost that job, which was another job that I lost because I chose family over work. I did that with my stepmom, and of course they didn't give me a. I asked her for leave of absence there, and they didn't give it to me because the Medical Leave Act at the time, I think it was the company had to have over 50 employees in order for it to have to qualify for the Medical Leave Act. They could have still, because I worked for them for a couple years of my life and was a good maintenance person, they could have just respected what I was going through and gave me the time. But because they'd sent my mom home with 2 weeks terminal, and the morning she passed, they were banging at my door and demanded me give them all the keys. That I had master keys and everything for multiple properties. When I was on call, because I'd be on call rotating shift, I was on call for like 3,600, a little over 3,600 apartment units. Yeah, so they were there demanding their keys, and they kind of had some attitude about it too, and which I didn't appreciate, especially for what I was going through. I thought they'd be more understanding. And anyway, so yeah, they showed up to get wanting the keys from me, and then they asked me how my mom was doing, and I was like, she just passed away this morning. Here's your keys. You can leave now. And of course, later on, needless to say, it's happened to me quite a few different times with different jobs. I've had jobs, try to manhandle me or control me in situations when I felt other things were more important in life. And then they're like, well, then fine, you lost your job or whatever, So that's what happened with that job. Well, then later on, they end up asking me to come back or looking for somebody and wondering if I'd work for them. Well, no, that's not going to happen anymore. I wouldn't work for a company like that again if that's how you're going to treat me in that situation. I don't need to work there. I'll go, stand on a street corner dancing, seeing if I can make a couple nickels before I work for you. Then it happened with my sister, but that was my stepmom. That was after my sister's accident. So after my dad had died, God, it wasn't. I don't know how much longer it was. It wasn't much longer after my dad died. Within a couple months of my dad dying or something like that. My sister was out with some friends. She was laying in the back of a pickup truck. They got in a car accident, hit somebody head on. She ended up crushing her spine, squishing her body like an accordion, which popped organs and stuff or whatever. But she ended up paralyzed from the chest down. And while she was in the hospital, she was in a coma. And, there were so many concerns about brain bleeding, brain swelling. She's in a coma. They're pretty sure she wasn't going to walk again. They didn't know if she'd be able to use her hands or anything again. It was pretty rough. So the place I was working at the time, there, I really produced a lot there. I outproduced, just like I did with my founder job. At this job, when I was younger, I outproduced I was on night shift and day shift. There was two of them in the day shift and one of me at night, and I was outproducing the day shift. So when my sister got in this accident and she was in the coma and I was at the hospital, I couldn't help it. It was my sister. She's in a coma. I don't know if she's going to live or die or be brain dead or what, but I'm going to be there for her because it's my sister. And my work, I called them, and after we realized it was pretty serious, that this was going to be an ongoing thing for a little while, I called and asked them for a temporary leave of absence, from work. And the supervisor had at the time, he was a good guy, but he wasn't good to me in the situation. He was probably getting jumped on by upper management or something, but he didn't handle it good. Because when I called and asked for a temporary leave of absence, he started kind of hollering at me, and he's like, how about we make that permanent, blah, 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 just treated me crappy. And I basically, when he got all crappy with me like that, I told him he could take his job and shove it, And I said, because my sister's laying here in a coma, and you're going to treat me like that, you can take your job and shove it, That's how you're going to treat me. And, we got we got stuff we got to get done here. It's okay. I don't care how much what you got to get done. My sister might die, you know. And so I lost that job. They terminated me from that. Wouldn't give me a leave of absence. And that was before there was the Medical Leave Act, I think. And not only that, if it was still the 50 employee rule, I don't know if they would have qualified either. But I didn't know all that stuff until later on with that other place. Anyway, oh, there's that word. But it was a good thing I did, because I ended up bringing my sister out of coma because she wasn't responding to nothing. And I just could feel, I knew that I just felt like I could reach her and bring her out of it, you know. So I'd sit by her side of her bed, and I'd talk to her and stuff, and I'd tell her, I know you can hear me, you know, and I know right now, you know, you're in a resting place or wherever it is, but I'm here for you, you know. I'd let her know that I'm right here with you. Don't you be afraid, you know, whatever you're going through, you know, your brother's here, you know, because I didn't know how she was, if she was in darkness or what, you know. But I just kept doing all the things I felt I should do, because from stuff I'd learned, or people that had been in comas, and some people could hear it and everything that was going on and stuff, and I just thought, nope, I'm talking to my sister. I'm going to keep reaching her. I'm going to try to pull her out of this if I can somehow. Well, I started telling her stories we'd talk about, and I was rapping. I was writing rap. Used to write a lot of rap lyrics and stuff, so I started rapping all the lyrics because she used to like my rap lyrics. And I had this backwards story that me and her used to do together. So then I started doing that too, because I was trying to do all familiar things that you'd remember. And while I kept doing all these familiar things, rapping and talking and blah blah blah, all of a sudden I seen her eyebrows start moving, you know. And when I seen her eyebrows start moving, that was the first time we'd seen any sign of anything, you know. So I go running out into the main area of the hospital there, outside the room, and I'm like, she's back, you know. And I went and got Mom and everything and said, she's back, you know. I'm all crying and happy, and then, you know, Mom comes running in, you know, because that's her baby girl, you know. And of course everybody comes running in the room, and she's laying there looking like she's still in coma, you know. And I said, no, she's back, watch. I said, watch her eyebrows, you know, watch her face. And then I started rapping to her again and doing the backward story, and then everybody could see her eyebrows start moving, you know. And the doctors had come in too, you know, to watch this, and because no one had gotten no response out of her before. Well, so when I started doing that and rapping and telling stories and stuff, and her eyebrows started moving around because she was recognizing me, and, you know, it was coming back to her memory. I could tell what was going on. I could almost feel like what she was thinking or feeling. I don't know how to explain it. And I said, oh, see, she's back, you know. And the more I kept talking, the more her movement she'd get out of her eyebrows. Well, then, this is a great story. The doctor, you know, because they don't know, they're pretty sure from her x-rays and stuff, you know, that she might not walk again, and that was hard for my mom to deal with. And I just told Mom, I said, hey, I don't care. I said, as long as she's alive and I get my sister back, you know, we'll deal with that somehow, you know. I mean, it ain't gonna be easy, but it's better that she lives than dying, you know. And but that was the earlier stages. Now back to her moving her eyebrows. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over again. So the doctors, now that they see this, they can see that I wasn't playing around, that she's definitely responding to me. So then the doctor takes his knuckle and he started kind of digging on her chest, because from his x-rays and them knowing how nerves work or whatever, he knew where she might have feeling, you know. So he starts digging the knuckle into her chest, and he moves it up a little higher, you know, trying to figure out if she can feel or not. And then as he gets to a higher point and he's digging his knuckle in her chest, now her eyebrows, from like moving up and down curious, now they start crunching together, like when a person gets really mad. And let me tell you, my sister, great, but she didn't. She was tough, and she could have a mouth on her, and she would tell you like it is. She wouldn't hold back, you know. She wasn't afraid about offending somebody. You know, if she had something to say, she was gonna say it. And when he started digging his knuckle in her chest, and when I seen those eyebrows go down, I could tell she was getting mad. She didn't like it, you know. So she could feel the uncomfortableness or the pain or whatever. And I didn't like it either, but I wasn't quite sure what in the time of as it was unfolding what he was doing, and as he's doing it, he starts saying, "Stephanie, if you want me to stop this, I want you to move your fingers. Can you move your fingers?" And so he's purposely creating pain for her in the chest because he wants her to try really hard to move her fingers. Because if he just says, "Hey, can you move your fingers?" she might just be too tired and just like, "I don't feel like doing it now," or whatever. So he's inflicting a little pain on her because he can see she's not liking it in her eyebrows. It's very evident she is getting pissed. Well, I'm not kidding you. My sister, as he's digging into her chest, saying, "Stephanie, if you want me to quit doing this, I need you to move your fingers." And all of a sudden, her middle finger comes out just like that. And we all start laughing. And I'm like, "That's my sister. She's back." And, it was such a happy moment and funny, too. We were like, Mom, me, my other sister, we're crying but laughing at the same time because we're happy she's back and that we're getting a response. So we're crying with happiness, but we're laughing because of her flipping off the doctor. Like, "You want me to move my finger? I'll show you my finger." And even the doctor laughed. And he's like, "Good, Stephanie, good. So now he was hoping to just get like some finger wiggling or something. He didn't realize he was going to get a nice tight fist with the middle finger sticking out. And it wasn't really super tight, but it was just strong enough to keep her main fingers bent down and her middle finger up. So that even was a better response than we were hoping for, rather than her just moving all fingers together. The fact that she was actually able to use her brain to flip them off was wonderful. And then, of course, he wanted her to move her other hand too, and that one, I can't remember if I don't know if she flipped them off with that one or how that even went. All I know is the first movement is what my brain stayed locked on, but she was able to move her other hand too, or whatever. And I can't remember if she flipped them off with that one too. She might have. I can't remember, but I definitely remember the first one. She definitely flipped them off. What a great way to come out of a coma, huh? Oh, she was something else, boy. So that's another fun story in my life, Now I can tell you as part of the sad part of that story later on in life. She was a teenager then. I don't remember exactly what age she was when that happened, but she lived to be 26 years old, and that's because of that accident. It shortened her lifespan, and part of it was her not having the fight either, and I really helped her with the fight a lot. I got 2 manual chairs because she wanted to get an automatic chair at first. Now it's kind of tough on her because I wanted her to be strong and fight, and I fought against the electric chair in the beginning. Not like a electric chair sentencing somebody to death, the ones with that you drive around on. Anyway, there's that word sneaking in. I wanted her to have a manual chair so she would use her muscles more, because I know the more she uses those arms and stuff, she can build up her upper muscle, and the more she works her body and stuff, the stronger she's going to be. And I believe that if the more she fought, she could maybe even walk again. But I learned in that process how spinal cords, I was already pretty smart with a lot of different medical stuff, but then I got into some heavy discussions with the doctors there about spinal cords and how it's not like your skin when you cut yourself, and your skin heals, or if you pull a muscle or if your tendons rip away from your bone or something, or your muscles, how that takes longer to heal, because that's a little different. Spinal cords are totally different. They don't heal, they don't regenerate like other parts of our body. But anyway, I don't want to get too, and there's that word sneaking in again. I don't want to get too sidetracked. So we got 2 manual wheelchairs. We got her one, and then we got her to be able to order like a hot pink one or whatever she wanted for the one she really wanted. But then we got just a cheaper one like a normal hospital one or whatever for the beginning while she was waiting to order the one she wanted, so she'd have a better one or whatever, you know. And that's still a tough, no matter what, even if you're getting a fancy wheelchair, it doesn't take away what happened to you and what you went through, you know. There's a lot of different struggles, and I got some good stories with that too. I'll tell in other videos. But yeah, I guess I won't go straight into when she passed yet, because that was she was true blue right to the end. But anyway, there's that word sneaking in again. Where am I at on time here? Yeah, it's getting long. So, well, hopefully I'll remember to tell some more sister stories, because there's some really good ones in there. They're pretty funny. She was something else, boy. She was a little spitfire. And I miss her. She was a good kid. But anyway, I let that one sneak in. Thank you so much for being here and watching. Don't forget to talk to God. Even if you're doing fine in life and whatever, still talk to Him. It's very important to keep acknowledging Him even when we're doing well. You know, shouldn't just have to turn to God when things are going rough, you know. Just like our parents, you know. It's good to appreciate our parents and other people in our lives, even when things are going good. So say hi to God, talk to Him a bit, just talk to Him about your day or whatever you got going on. Share it with Him. He'll like that. And if you feel like it, tell Him Darren says hi. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one.